In this particular video, we're going to talk of the education that you need to pursue after LLB, right? A lot of you would get into a job, will get into a placement, but at some point in time, many of you would want to do an LLM. And then the question of also comes in saying, if you want to pursue LLM, should you do it within India or outside of India? Because if you want to really become global, you might actually want to pursue LLM outside of India, which is what we're going to speak to experts in this particular video, trying to explain what LLM means, who should do it, whether you should do it or not do it, and assuming you want to do it, whether you should do it within India or outside of India is what we're going to look at in this particular video. Should you do LLM or not do an LLM?
When we think about a legal career, it's actually very diverse. There are multiple ways of being a legal professional. For starters, there's corporate law, there's litigation, there's legal academia and research, there's activism and human rights, there's international criminal law. So I think the fundamental reason why you want to do an LLM is to basically engage with a specialized subject for a year or so and sort of find your feet into the legal profession. So more often than not, it starts with this desire to have a specialized degree. Of course, now everybody wants to do an LLM. When I graduated about 18 years back, very few of us actually ended up doing LLM, and mostly corporate lawyers and legal people who are interested in legal academia did the higher education LLM.
So law is the terminal degree, which essentially means that you can become the Chief Justice of India, accepting the academic world. Everything in law you can do with a 5-year law or a 3-year LLB program. So you don't need to do that to just get a promotion in your career. But people still do it because most of the time in your legal education, you are introduced to courses for the first time. You don't have the time and the context to pursue specialization and more deeper learning surrounding those areas. So the reason to pursue the master's degree program should not be a routine reason. It should be that you want to immerse yourself into a more specialized field of law so that the understanding of that field will possibly help you to pursue your own profession better, or you have a deeper sense of intellectual curiosity to pursue a master's degree. And the third obvious reason is that if you want to enter into legal academia, then the pursuit of a master's and then possibly a PhD program is also a choice.
Most litigators actually don't do an LLM, don't have a degree in LLM, and they don't find it very useful as well.
Does pursuing LLM boost your CV and your career for you to become a successful legal professional?
I think at the undergraduate level, you need to be a T-shaped lawyer, and then you have to go and work for 1 or 2 years, understand what are the areas or what are the lacunas in your learning, and then LLM should be after having 1 or 2 years of work experience. Like in any MBA program, that's how the LLM programs were eventually conceived. But unfortunately today I also see a lot of students immediately moving from a law school to do an LLM program. That is twofold. One, the reputation of the law school where they did their undergraduate is not good, is not great. Then the only way that they can push that reputation, push that boundaries beyond to get those jobs which they not be entitled is to go and do LLM program from a reputed institution. But having said that, LLMs are specialized programs. When you're doing LLM, you are actually specializing in something. LLM is also more academically rigorous and research driven. So focus when you're choosing an LLM. What is the reason for you to do an LLM? Is it because you want to knock those career opportunities which are not available for you, or you want to get into academia, you want to get into research, you want to get into think tanks? So I would suggest a law student to put 2 wish lists. 1, what is the degree I have? What are the jobs I'm entitled to? What are the jobs I'm not able to have access to because I don't have LLM? And if that is the gap, you should pursue LLM.
So specialization is, I think, overrated, but of course it's valued in certain corners because it allows you to, engage with something very closely, like a sector such as a technical sector such as tax or IPR. So then specializations work very well, and law firms may have preferences of hiring people who've done specializations. Like for example, there's a preference now for someone who's done LLM in ADR and mediation to teach that course, which is now mandatory by the Bar Council of India. So in that sense, specialization works very well.
And how about LLM abroad? Because a lot of students also tell us that for LLM, if you go international and study abroad, it might actually add a lot of value because a lot of international linkages are happening these days. A lot of international law firms are also slightly operating in India through multiple associations. And typically there are also international arbitration awards, international cooperation that's happening between companies also, where they're collaborating, partnering with companies and all. So how important is it, or what is your advice for a student who wants to do LLM? Should they do it in India or outside of India?
My personal understanding of why, if you have an opportunity to do a degree abroad, is twofold. First, these are centers of excellence. You are going to be taught by the best minds. A very serious academic exercise in the classroom. You're going to learn from some of the best people. For example, my own experience in Harvard Law School constitutional law classes were extremely humbling. So I think that exposure is quite amazing, and it's not about the profession you will eventually enter, but it's about that 1 year time when you get to pause, think, rethink, and relearn. And that's how I think of an LLM degree. An undergraduation degree is more about learning 50 courses and thinking about what you're going to do next. An LLM degree is more about the pause and the thought. And I think that's why it's a very inviting space. The second is that most professions actually require you to do an LLM. And if you're aiming to do, say, a corporate job in a top law firm, Magic Circles, in US, UK, or European countries, then they prefer you to have an LLM from top institutions. So I think the centers of excellence are also basically directly related to these top institutions that are ranked very high. So it's correlated in some ways. And then if you want to do an ICJ internship, etc., or you have desires for an international career, they also prefer that you have an LLM from a recognized institution. So these are the two fundamental reasons why an LLM abroad is inviting. Having said that, doing an LLM in India is also not a bad idea at all, and some of the LLMs in India are very rigorous, very well done, especially the recent initiatives. I think so that's one. The third most important thing about doing an LLM abroad is just the exposure that you get, like the people you meet, the long-term friendships you enter, the diverse cultures you learn with and immerse yourselves with. I think those things are very important for holistic development. So I would think of this as an opportunity to grow and pause and think what you want to do. It may not necessarily fit into your career plans, long term or short term.
So over the past 5 videos, we try to explain to you whether you should do law or not do law. And assuming you want to do law, whether it should be after graduation or before the graduation, which is after class 12, then you do a 5-year program. And then the way you must go about using specialization, the way you must go about choosing a college, the way you must go about enjoying a life in the college itself, and how to maximize or optimize your learning within the college environment. And then whether you should do LLM or not LLM, right? Whether you choose to do LLM or not, it's very important for you to explore the college, enjoy your journey in the college, learn from the college, upskill yourself in the college, and then come out of it and become a very, very successful legal professional, whether as a solicitor, as a litigator, or beyond that, working in one of the corporates or as a consultant. But you must very clearly know whether you should do law or not do law, and then the entire journey that happens is what we try to cover in this 5-part series. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps every student who wants to pursue law or has been thinking of making law as a career path. Our objective is simple, that we want you to do the best thing for yourself, and all that we try to lay bare is how you must go about making that choice, and then once you make those choice of pursuing law, how to get into the right college and maximize and optimize your potential of being a very, very good successful legal professional. I hope this helps you. Thank you so much. Namaste.